All right, folks, so we're going to continue speaking about Augustine today, but I cannot emphasize enough, philosophy has application. So a lot of people talk about the job market and philosophy, right? Oh, why do you got to take philosophy? It has nothing to do with your job. It has everything to do with your life, okay? Do you understand that? You, sir, Xavier, are going to have a job. And if I'm correct, it has something to do with the medical field. Was it some kind of physical therapy type stuff? Kinesiology? No? What was it?
Sports broadcasting or something.
Sports broadcasting. You're going to have a job. That sounds like a really cool job. And because I love sports. Man, I love sports. And man, I'd have a fun time doing that job. And I suppose you love sports too, and I think that's why you're pursuing it, right? I love what I do, that's why I pursued it, okay? I didn't think about the money, I thought about what I loved, okay? You do what you love, you never work a day in your life, you heard that one? If you're successful at sports broadcasting, you'll probably make a living, and if you do it really famously, you'll make a killing, right? Probably won't be a billionaire, but you certainly be a millionaire, okay? That's nice, there's nothing wrong with being a millionaire, is there? No, you like it, hey, I like it. And what's your goals to be?
To be a singer.
A what?
Be a singer, make my own music, and like write for other people.
Golly, man, me too. You know, I tell them I love sports, and then you tell you want to be a singer. Oh man, I put so much effort into making movies. I did. I helped produce 2 movies, you know, and I was an actor and a stuntman and a, you know, photo double for the Red Power Ranger for a little while. And I spent years doing it. Man, what a great, how fun, huh? And you'll love it. Oh, yeah. I still want to make movies. I still have all the equipment. I mean, and cool. A little different than that, similar but different. How about you, sir?
Nursing.
No, sir.
Oh.
In front of you.
Oh.
I'd like to be a surgeon.
A surgeon. I mean, I'd not lie to you. I had a chance to give a guy CPR once. That's not surgery, that's emergency medicine. Helped a guy get stitches. I'm not gonna tell you where, because it might be, you know, because it wasn't in a hospital, I'll tell you that. Okay, but that's pretty cool stuff too, isn't it? Man, that's awesome. It's a little different than producing film and music, because I'm playing music now. The other day, the church, the guy didn't sing, the singer didn't show up. Guess who had to step up? His 2 thumbs, and they're pointed right here. I got a chance to sing. I'm smiling, you know, because I never get a chance to sing, you know. So I got a chance to do the singing. I felt cool, and it wasn't so bad. I heard the recording. Could have gone. It could have been a train wreck, and I promise I've had those. Great. And you're nursing. Don't get me wrong, I have certainly considered that. In fact, when I was your age, that was where I was going to go. I was going to become a nurse, believe it or not. I didn't know. I was getting out of the Marine Corps. I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. Some said, well, go in the medical field, you know. And I thought, okay. And I really wasn't a great student in high school. I was a screw up. And God had really just barely gotten his hold on me. And so I didn't have a whole lot of direction. Not to say that, you know, so somebody presented this RN program at Kapiolani Community College in Hawaii, where I was living at the time. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. But then eventually a girl I was dating, she's like, dude, why don't you go get a degree in Bible? That's all you read, and you're into all this apologetic stuff. And I said, yeah, you're right. And then I sought out a degree in that. And it was because I had such a strong desire in that, no, not that strong of a desire for hospitals, okay? And that's how I ended up here today. It's the first day of class, I ended up saying, that's what I want to do with my life. The first day of my New Testament class, this guy, Dr. Martin, okay? And I was like, oh man, this guy's awesome, I want to do that, okay? And here I am, praise the Lord, okay? And I tried acting and singing. And I was in a band before all that, by the way. And sports, I'm just a spectator. I'll never try that, but I like it, okay? Love it, man. Football, I love Baylor's now the Elite Eight. I went to Baylor, so sick and Bears. I have this sense of, wanting to be a hero too, wanting to save lives. That sounds cool, man. And if you're a surgeon, you're probably doing it in a different way, not emergency medicine necessarily, unless you do emergency surgery, trauma. Sir, in the back. Business. Again, I'm an entrepreneur in the filmmaking industry. It was our own business. I wanted my own company to do it, okay? Why get hired when you could be the one who does the hiring, right? Promote yourself to the boss right away, okay? How about you? Nursing, see, it's a great field. It really is, no matter what. Now, all those are different fields, okay? But the one thing y'all have in common is you are all going to be making philosophical decisions every day of your life. You're going to be making moral decisions based on what you believe to be true. Did you catch that? Moral decisions based on what you believe to be true. That's an epistemological thing. You are basing your decisions every day, even what you do as a vocation. You're going to be making epistemological decisions, right? What you believe to be true. You'll be making moral decisions based on your epistemology. About the world, that's metaphysics. About reality. Do you understand that? As a surgeon, you believe patients exist, but you also believe there is a certain way you should treat patients. Hopefully it's in a Christian way with love and dignity, right? That you're not just going to go, well, he's ugly, we'll kill him, or something. I don't know. Hopefully in the field of nursing, you value life. Unfortunately, there are way too many nurses out there that work at Planned Parenthood. Okay? And surgeons. Okay? I've seen some undercover videos. It is not pretty. It is, in fact, a disgusting enterprise. All right? In China, they do organ harvesting with political prisoners. So if you ever need a kidney or something, you're going to die, and you go, I can go to China and get one, right? Well, they're taking them from their political prisoners. You think that the surgeons and nurses doing that are ethical? I think not. Are they skilled? Probably yes. Are they ethical? No. Every day of your life, no matter what field of study you are in, you will make ethical decisions. Do you understand me? You, as somebody who's going to produce something, you're either going to tell the truth morally, or you're not. Okay? What are you going? Look, there are people with cameras all over the place, and the internet is what it is today. It is as big as it is today. It is as, listen, I say, efficient at producing videos and streaming quality today because of one industry, porn. So there are a lot of producers out there of entertainment, but they make philosophical choices every day. And one of the philosophical choices they made is the ethical decision over how to treat human beings. And they treat them as objects, not subjects. Did you catch that? So as somebody with the camera, your choice of what you point that camera at and what you ignore, that goes with the news, okay? We don't have any journalists in here. That's an ethical issue because you are making choices of what you want your people to believe, your audience to believe. Okay? So there's morality to epistemology of what you can. So when we watch the news, you always need to ask the question, where are they trying to get me to believe here? What do they want me to believe here? I'm not saying don't trust news, but I'm telling you to not trust news. Be healthily skeptical. Be very skeptical, but because, man, how many geniuses are there? Not many. And usually they're only a genius in a particular area, not in everything. So be wary of people who tell you things. I'm not saying all things are false, because that would be false. There are a lot of true things out there, praise the Lord. Okay, but why am I on this today? Because our world is in a bit of upheaval today, or at least headed towards it. So I was watching the trial. Who knows who George Floyd is? 2 people? 1, 2, 3. Who's George Floyd? Can somebody tell me? Do you really know him, by the way? And the answer is no. In fact, you could say that about your own mom sometimes. I really know who she is. I know that's her right there. I know I lived with her, but I mean, there's a whole level of acquaintance we get, okay? But tell me a little bit about this man really quickly.
So he was a guy that was like accused of doing something, I mean, nobody knows if he really did or not, but.
Well, he did, there was no trial.
Yeah.
So there you go, innocent until proven guilty.
So he was accused of doing whatever, and the officer,
They responded,
they responded.
they came to the scene,
Mhm.
okay?
And they did it in a way that many people thought was unjust towards George Floyd.
Okay, so, okay, go ahead. What was the end result?
The end result was that George Floyd died.
He died, okay? And now there's a trial there's a particular officer who out of, I think there were 4 of them, I watched the video today, the body cam video, just 20 minutes of the arrest, okay? With no commentary, I just watched it, okay? It wasn't fun to watch, okay? Nobody wants to be in that position. I watched the guy saying he can't breathe. I watched guys trying to hold him down who are obligated to hold him down. They can't let him go, right? They are not allowed to let him go. So what do? So they're put in a position to hold him down. He asks and forces him to take him out of the car, which I found interesting that they did, because he was saying he couldn't breathe in the car, so they ended up taking him down. Then you hear a guy saying you should roll him on the side, and they never rolled him on the side. I don't know if that would have saved his life or not, okay? There's one guy on his legs, one guy on his butt, I think one guy on his shoulders, and one guy on his neck, okay? We've established that. He was talking, I can't breathe, until he stopped talking, and then at that point, the people started yelling, check his pulse. They had called the EMTs arrived. By the time they arrived, he's pretty much lifeless. Now, what I don't see is people beating him. I didn't see that. All I can say is I see them on him, okay? I have buddies who are police officers, and you go to work, you just never know. You never know what you're gonna encounter, and you never know what you're gonna be put in jail for yourself. Because you're getting into kerfuffles, you know. You think those guys went to work going, I want to go to jail today? You think they went to work going, I want to kill somebody? I don't know. These are things I don't know. A lot of people say it's racism. I don't know their minds. Do you know their minds? There's a whole lot of things epistemologically I don't know. You may know, I don't know. I've not studied. All I know is what I saw on tape. The body cam. For all I know, if you had extra videotape of this guy on his neck going, I'm going to get somebody today, right? Then you might go, okay, something's pretty wrong there, okay? I could go with that, yeah. I haven't seen all the evidence, but what I would say is it's an interesting thing that I saw today, and it was horrible. Not evil. I don't know if it was, we're going to talk about that today, okay? With Augustine, what is evil, okay? But I know it would, there's all sorts of factors that played into this. Why was he getting arrested? He had to be arrested, okay? They had to arrest him. For whatever reason it was, they had come to, okay? There was also a toxicology report that found out he was really, really high. Really high, like ODing high type, okay? He wasn't sober at all. But there's another fact that the guy on his neck and him used to know each other and had some sort of, I'm gonna say relationship. That might make it sound like it's a good relationship, but it could have been a bad relationship. It was a bad relationship? Yeah, they worked as bouncers, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they didn't like each other, I guess, right? That's what I kind of gathered.
Yeah.
Is that true? Allegedly, Floyd had pointed a gun at somebody at one point, okay? So there's this assumption he's not a nice guy, okay? So there's an assumption he's dangerous, okay? So that would act, if true, I'm not saying it's true, I don't know, I'm not there, as a justifier for a sense of, we better keep this guy down, he's dangerous, okay? I can understand that, okay? He's also a really big guy from my understanding. Is he a pretty big guy for me? I couldn't tell from the video, but is he a big guy? Bouncers are usually pretty big. You don't go bouncing if you're my height, okay? You know, I'd be like, hey dude, you're gonna have to go, or I'm gonna have to take you out. It doesn't garner a whole lot of respect, okay? So maybe this warranted a sense of 4 guys. We need 4 guys to take care of this rather than 1 guy. Okay? How would I have handled it? All I know is I wouldn't know how it turned out until it turns out. Okay? Meaning none of them knew it was going to turn out that way. I can assume that, okay? What would they have done differently? What would you have done? Would any of you have done anything differently? What would you have done?
When he was saying I can't breathe, I would have taken my knee off his neck and like went another way to detain him instead of using that kind of force.
Yeah. So what if your training said you put your knee on their neck?
Then I would do it with caution, I guess.
Well,
Like if I see that it's hurting someone.
well, it's supposed to hurt him. It's not supposed to feel gentle. It's supposed to keep him down. That's the goal.
Then do it in another way where they can like be responsive.
Now, of course, if you were saying, listen to this, if you're talking, can you breathe?
Yeah, but I would assume that you're struggling to talk.
Oh, he's certainly struggling. Well, he wasn't struggling. He was yelling. Okay? But he was struggling. I'll grant that. He was struggling. And he did die. So we know something was going on. Okay? I don't know I don't know what they gave cause of death as. I probably, see, that's such a hard thing. You're trained to do one thing. The police department says, do this. And I've been through this kind of training, okay? And so they tell you to do something, you do it, right? And they go, because you're going to be judged according to your training. Did you follow the book? Okay? Or did you go off on your own? Because what if he went off on his own and then he died? And they said, well, did you follow your instructions? Well, no, not really. Right? I did something else. I'm not saying he's not guilty. I don't know even if you wanted him to die, I don't get the incentive. He may not be guilty of murder because, well, then I think they're maybe charging him a 3rd-degree murder, okay? But I mean, yeah, he may, by the way, I don't know if his training had that, but I assume, let's pretend it was, okay? I want to take that back because I didn't read his training manual. Let's pretend he went off training and he did have it on his neck. Now, personally, I would have had it on his shoulders, okay? Because the head's not going to really do a whole lot, I mean, to get you up. You put your knee on a guy's shoulders, you're pretty good. But even still, you put it on small of his back, that's still compressing the lungs, would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could hold me down?
Like with just your knee twist?
Do you think you could hold me down at all with anything? No, the answer is no. In fact, I can guarantee not one of you could hold me down. Okay? I go not be held down every day for 2 hours a day at jiu-jitsu. I can promise you that. 4 of you could hold me down. Okay? And I'd still be struggling. What would it take for you to hold me down? Take a lot. Take a lot more than you think. Okay? Strong guy, especially with a female. I'm looking at the guy who's charged. I'm looking at his arms. I'm going, man, you got some skinny arms, dude. I don't even think he's that strong. I'm like, how was he a bouncer, right? Point being, let's get back to this. Unfortunately, moral decisions come to us every day, whether you're a police officer, a nurse that's going to give somebody advice on whether a family member says, should I pull the plug or not? Surgeon, should you perform a surgery or not? These moral decisions that have implications, okay? And they should be based off of your knowledge, of your expertise, right? But not just that, but your expertise in moral theory and philosophy, okay? See, because when you go become a nurse, they're not going to teach you how to make these moral decisions. They may teach you the legal, but not moral, okay? Same with surgeons. They may tell you something about sports, but they don't tell you about what's ethical or not ethical, do they? They'll tell you, no, what's your area that you're studying?
I want to go to medical school.
Medical, just again, medical ethics are so important, but there was the medical ethics that they teach you. Here they will teach you it, okay? You go to a nursing school anywhere else, their ethics turn out to be nothing more than this is what you can legally get away with. All right? In business ethics. You go to other countries, there are bribes you have to give, right? To conduct business. They call them taxes, maybe, right? But they're bribes. In America, that's illegal. Is it okay to do that just because when in Rome, you do in Rome? You got to make these ethical decisions. Where are you going to get that training from? Your philosophy classes. That's why philosophy is important. That's why I'm selling you philosophy today. On such important issues such as George Floyd, we got to take in the information to be epistemologically correct, to have truth in a corresponding way, to say this is the facts of the matter, so that then we can apply morality, because it is immoral to kill people unjustifiably. He was not trying to kill them. You cannot say we killed him in self-defense, right? We also can't put people in jail for murder who don't fit that definition. Maybe manslaughter. What is manslaughter? Manslaughter is the unintentional, unjustified killing of a human, right? If he killed him, it's his fault, let's say. Let's pretend it is, I don't know. But let's say it is his fault, and we determine that that is the truth. But he did not intend to do it. Would I be moral by putting him in jail for murder, which is, by definition, the intentional, unjustified killing of a human? Or should I let justice be served and say equals being treated as equals? Unjustified, but unintentional killing of a human gets this. Is that where we are, if that's the truth? Or should I go, we don't like it because of our preconceived notions of what happened that we don't quite know maybe. We'll call it murder so we get a higher, so we can punish this guy more. What should we do as ethicists? Be just. Let equals be treated equally and unequals be treated unequally. If we let the guy off easy, even though he is guilty, let's pretend he is. I don't know. I don't know. Look, what if it turned out that the guy, his knee on his neck had nothing to do with it? It was 100% the drugs in his body. What if that's the case? Should the guy go to jail for manslaughter? The answer is no, because he didn't kill him. He died from something else. Only if he actually died. Now, I don't have a dog in this fight. I care one thing. That the truth be told, and that the morality of it be established based on the facts, right? If it turns out he was a racist pig, went out, intentionally killed the guy, he should go away for murder. Okay, he really should be, and he should be sent away in shame. Okay? But you let the punishment fit the crime, and that's called retributive justice. There first has to be a crime, then it has to fit it, and then the punishment fits it, okay? Now that's what got me. It's just I want us to act as philosophers who use reason and rationality in assessing reality. Does that make sense? Not emotion. You can imagine why the Stoics, those who eschew emotion, had so much influence, because emotions often misguide us. I say it again, emotions misguide us. Do not let anger dictate what you believe. Let anger dictate how you act only after you start to believe it rationally, after you've gone through the process. You stop, you think, you reason, and then you come to a conclusion, and then you go, oh, that was bad. And when something's bad, then you get angry about it. Okay? I get mad at things where my side is wrong and just does something wrong because I'm mad that they did it in the first place, and I'm mad that they made my side look bad. Okay? Don't worry, it's all in the video if you didn't get it in notes. Which brings us to Augustine. because he wants to talk about the problem of evil, because this is what we're dealing with here, is it not? Why do we get angry? Because we believe that evil exists. If evil didn't exist, we wouldn't get angry, would we? I can't imagine what we'd get angry at if something wasn't, quote, bad. Augustine had a problem with evil. He wanted to know, how do we explain such a thing? Augustine came up with this hierarchy of being. It's this, they call it a chain of being, or a hierarchy of goodness, we'll call it. And I kind of showed you the other day. Let me show it to you again if I can get this up. I don't leave you much chalk in here, so I'm going to do my best with this little pebble. You've got little things here like rocks, inanimate objects. Rocks are an example, but rocks are lifeless, but they do exist. All right? You got a step between each one of these. And then you got animalia, animals, like dogs. We'll give dogs as an example. And then we got humans. Top that we got angels. There's space going on, and then up top you got this hierarchy. That's a hierarchy of being. Now, interestingly, this is kind of metaphysics too, because it talks about existence. You got this chain of being, this chain of existence. Right? And the higher you get, it's a quantitative amount of being. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this in a sense. I'm not saying it's bad, evil, or I think you either exist or you don't exist. The thing he's talking about here, there's a term for it, okay? This idea of, it's not going in and out of existence, but this idea that existence comes in degrees, or being comes in degrees. See, Augustine is going to suggest that existence or being, I am, right? God said when Moses asked him, whom shall I say sent me? When Moses, the burning bush, is talking to Moses, he says, he's going to go lead him out of Egypt. He says, whom shall I say sent me? Because we're talking about Moses being amongst the pantheon of Egyptian gods like Ra and all those guys, Osiris and Isis, and what does God say? He says, I am that I am. I'm the one that exists, okay? Pardon me. This idea of being, okay? Things that do not exist are not as good as things that do exist. Obviously, existence, he would say, is good. God has the highest quantity of being, thus God is the maximal good. All right? God is self-existent. That's called the aseity, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. Divine aseity is self-existence. That is, God does not need to have a creator. He exists independently. It is a fact that reality has something that exists independently. We call that God, okay? That is, we would not be here if something didn't self-exist. You cannot go back ad infinitum to things that have a cause. You have to get to that first cause. Whatever that first cause is, has its own existence that was uncaused. Whatever that is God. Okay, that's, by the way, will be discussed in more length with Aquinas. On the other hand, you have a sense of quality of being. I apologize, that should be a Y. Are dogs qualitatively better than rocks? You say yes. And we talk about the good in themselves, not just good for something, because diamonds are good for something. But are plants? I didn't put plants between rocks and dogs, okay? I could have. If I throw a rock against the wall, you may be like, dude, you're about to ruin the wall, right? What if I start throwing kittens at the wall? Then you'll be like, oh man, this guy's sick, right? Now, why am I sick?
Something that's alive at the wall.
Yeah, and that's going to hurt the wall. No, yeah, see the look on your face, like, no, it's going to hurt the kitten. And kittens are better than walls, right? We build walls to protect things like kittens and ourselves. Okay? We save whales. They are higher order beings than rocks. And then humans. Do we save humans from lions, or do we save lions? Well, we could save lions from humans. But you see a lion and a human fighting, your inclination is not just to save your own kind, but there's a reason. Why are humans better than lions? That, by the way, it's a loaded question. It presupposes that we are better. Are we better than lions, or are we equal? Some people actually believe that we are equal, that there's no normative or qualitative moral difference between us and the animals. Are we better than them? Xavier?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, why? What is it about us?
We have a better, rationale of thinking.
You're correct. Yeah. We are a higher order being in the sense that we reason, right? And we are, Augustine's going to say that which is more eternal, that which is more self, not just aware, but self, what we would call it, sustaining. God is the ultimate of self-sustaining beings. That's why he is God and the highest order being. He is the best. He is good by nature. We have a goodness that comes in degrees, and our goodness, moral nature, is greater than that of animalia. Do animals reason morally? No, they absolutely do not. Sharks forcibly copulate. What does that mean? They rape to procreate. Okay? Now, should we go around arresting male sharks for doing this? No, they're not morally responsible. They can't even morally reason that it is wrong. They have no idea. That's just the way they do it. Okay? You look at monkeys in the zoo, they're all destroyed by each other, where they beat the heck out of each other. Should we start arresting monkeys for assault? No. The chimps would be like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. They wouldn't say that because they can't, right? So there's this higher order quality of being. And as we get to the humans, now once we get to the angels, they're a higher order being than we are. They're closer to the good. And then God being the ultimate. Now this is it. Now he's going to suggest there's a quantity and quality of this. Now here's the interesting thing. Where does evil play in this? Augustine there's going to be two types of evil. Okay? Ultimately, there's two types of evil. There's moral evil and there's natural evil. I want to make sure I'm going in order here. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna step back on evil. I'm gonna give you two other points here. Augustine, remember, he was a Platonist. Okay, this is going to be important because when Aquinas comes around, I'm going to say he wasn't a Platonist, he was Aristotelian. He followed Aristotle. That's why I had to read Plato and Aristotle, and that's why I will have you read Augustine and Aquinas so you can see how each one of them took on those different viewpoints. So I'm going to tell you that, yeah, there's a correlation between being and goodness. You remember Plotinus, and if you watched the video, or were here, you saw where we talked about Plotinus, and you had the champagne glasses all stacked up, and you pour the champagne on top, and it dribbles into the other things. And that's how, on Plotinus's view, you have the one that creates from which all other things come, right? And so that's how being is. Now, for Augustine, just like that, there's a sense of things that don't exist, which there's no such thing as a thing that doesn't exist. It don't exist, right? And so it's a privation of something. We're going to deal with that in a second. Augustine had to reject the notion that the body is bad, okay? Now, one of the things about that is the Manichaeans, those from whom he hailed prior to his conversion to Christianity, they were a form of Gnosticism. The Gnostics believed, I think we're running out of time in seconds now, the Gnostics believed that the body is bad, that the physical world is evil, okay? That it is the spiritual world that is non-evil. Augustine ends up rejecting this. Christianity rejects this. The body is not evil. Okay? Jesus is the incarnate Word of God. His body, he was sinless. He is not evil. Okay? So what types of evil are there that Augustine has? He talks about moral evil, which requires rational, reasoned agents that are free. You have to be able to make free and independent decisions to do evil. On the other hand, there's this thing called natural evil, and Augustine denies that this exists. Natural evil is not something that exists. It is instead a privation of the good. That is, it is a lack of goodness. So being sick is not evil. We can call it evil, but what we mean by that is not that something exists, but that something doesn't exist. That is your health. It is a privation of your health. Okay? So we could get into that a little more. We'll actually, we got a lot more to go next time I see you on this, because then we're going to go with if evil has no being, it's a privation of the good. But if goodness exists, then we have to accept that God exists. Now, we'll continue this. But the big deal with this is, look, when we talk about evil, and when we watch the news and they tell us about all the evil things that are happening, okay? The first things I want you to do is gather the facts. Not the facts that the news tells you, the facts that the news leaves out. Okay? All of the facts. And then I want you to make your decision about what is true. And then you make a decision on what was good or bad. And then you make a decision on how to act. And that goes throughout your life. Whatever, if you're going to be a sports broadcaster, a surgeon, a doctor, 2 nurses, a businessman, or a film music person. Okay? No matter what you do, you're all philosophers. Every one of you. Don't let the news or other people, me especially, tell you what to believe, other than, believe me, use your reason. Okay? All right, with that, we'll conclude.